Alright, welcome guys and gals to Freaking Laser Designs and Tutorials. I'm Jonathan Benson, and today we're going to be making this door hanger. We'll start in Illustrator, we'll move our way to the Glowforge, and then we'll put it all together. Let's do it. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is go to File, New from Template, and pick our Glowforge template. A link to the Glowforge template can be found in the description below, and if you look at some of my earlier videos, you will find a video describing how to install it. Okay, so what we want to do first is change our artboard size. So what we're going to do with this door hanger, it's going to be quite large, so we're going to use the Glowforge Pro pass-through. So we want to go to Document Setup, go to Edit Artboards, and turn the height of 12 inches into 24 inches, hit Enter, and grab the magnifying glass and pull back out a little bit. Okay, now let's go ahead and make our circle. So we'll get our ellipse tool, left click on the layer here, and we want to make it 18.5 inches width and height. And we'll bring the stroke up here to 1 so we can see it. And let's bring this over. Now by default on this template, Snap to Grid is on, and we'll toggle it on and off as we go. Alrighty, and we'll bring that down. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and bring some guides over. Okay, the next step, we want to select this circle, go to Object, Path, Offset Path, and we want to make this, let's see, 2 inches, so -2. And if we go to our layers here, we'll see that we'll have 2 paths now. I'll hide these guides for right now. We have 2 paths. We want to make this one path, so let's highlight these 2 paths, go to Pathfinder, and click minus front, and now we see that we have one compound path. Okay. Now what we want to do is find a font, okay, that will be agreeable to us. I'm going to use the word Smith as our last name, so I'm going to start with an S, and I'm going to grab this and resize it, holding Shift down so it stays in proportion. This is a boring font to me. I want something with more flourish, so I'm going to highlight over this and pick this font right here, Harrington. And I'm going to go to Object, Expand, and now I'm going to enlarge it. Again, holding Shift down. And I'm going to basically enlarge it such that the bottom and the top just touch the circle. And I think I might want this a little thicker, so what I'm going to do, and I know there are different ways to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and pop the stroke up on this until it looks like what I want it to look like. And then I'm going to go Object, Expand again, OK. Then I'm going to go to Pathfinder, Unite, and now I have my S. Now let me go back to Layers real quick and throw down our guides, OK, and center this up just a bit, OK. Good enough. I'm not going to make this quite center because this is where I want it at the top and bottom. Alright, so that looks good. Now what we want to do is to highlight our circle, Shift and click on our S. Actually, let's start with the S, then the circle, holding Shift down. They're both selected. Go to Pathfinder, Unite. Alright, so we're almost there. Now all we have to do is throw down our name here. So we'll pick a different color. Type in the last name, in this case Smith. Again, I'm going to grab it, hold Shift, and enlarge it to where it's almost touching the sides. I want to bring it down just a little bit more. Okay, looks good. Zoom in just a bit here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit Smith. I'm going to make it a little thicker too. So again, I'm going to pop these strokes up just a little. I might give it a different color so I can see it here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So again, Object, Expand. Okay, go to Layers, excuse me, Pathfinder. And I must not have expanded that. Let's do it again. Object, Expand. Okay, now Pathfinder. Unite. Okay, so there's our Smith, and now I want to grab our rectangle tool and throw down a rectangle here, and about like that. Let's give it a different color. And I'm going to hit Control C, which will copy it, Control F, which will paste it in place, and bring this down. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in here a bit. Oops, let me zoom out a little bit more. And I want to bring this up, and I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to take the snap to grid off. Okay, now I'm going to bring this up until it just barely touches the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing here until it barely touches. All right, it looks about right. I'm going to select all of these by holding Shift down and align them horizontally, which it looks like it is. Okay, so that's good. Now I want to go to Pathfinder again and hit Unite. And I'm going to zoom into these areas and hit my direct select and delete these areas out. We'll go ahead and speed this up. Okay, so now what we want to do is to go into our layers here, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our guides. We don't need those anymore. We're going to select our paths and go to our Pathfinder, hit Divide. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, I didn't have them selected. Now they're selected. Now go to Pathfinder, hit Divide. Okay, and they are divided. Okay, I just thought they weren't. Sorry. A little confusing for me there. All right, so we're going to zoom in and go ahead and start deleting these sections out. Okay. And we're almost done. All we have to do at this point is grab all this gobbledygook here, kind of these little remaining paths that are in black, bring those to our trash can, highlight our remaining paths, go to Pathfinder, hit Unite, and then we'll turn this into a stroke, take away the color, and we're done. There's our hanger. So the question is, before we export this, the question is, how do we hang it? Okay, there are a lot of different ways. People that I know that have these door hangers and things that I've seen on Etsy, a lot of times people, let's go ahead and get rid of that notification. A lot of times what will happen is people will put holes here and here, and they'll run a rope or a piece of twine or something like that with a knot on one end. They'll bring it down the top, down the back, around, and back up through the bottom and tie it off as a knot, and then they'll hang it, okay, on one of those larger door hangers that goes on the top of the door. Another way to do it would be to make your own mounts, and I've made some, and I'm going to put a link to those files in the description below, and you can choose whichever one you want. Basically, there will be a mount that will fit here, and then some sort of block that will go at the bottom that's the same depth as the top mount, so everything will stand or rest level on your door. So here are the mounts. There is a magnetic mount, and these are all supposed to be cut out of 1/4-inch plywood and stacked or laminated on top of each other using wood glue. So this would be layer 1, this would be layer 2 that would fit on top. This little circle would be cut out of 1/8-inch wood and put inside of that circle, and then a 1/8-inch magnet that's 0.71 inches wide, which I'll link to below, would fit in this circle, okay? And then this here, this would be cut out of felt and placed on top, okay? So your door won't be marred. And then these right here are 1/4 inch, and they would all be stacked on top of each other, glued, and put at the bottom. So this one here goes up here, and then this would be flipped upside down and put here at the bottom, okay? That's the magnet mount. Then there's the screw mount. Again, same concept, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and then the felt on top. And the idea is that you have a screw. In this case, let me look at it because I've got it right here in front of me. A number 8, 1 1/4 inch screw, which again I'll link to below, would go in here, and then you would kind of push it down and it would stay secure, okay? And this would go on the bottom. Again, layer 1, layer 2, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and then the felt. And then finally, there's the command hanger. You may have seen these at Walmart or some sort of Home Depot or Lowe's, some sort of store like that, where these little command strips have a hanger that goes with them. It's usually a plastic hanger. It's either white or silver or satin, whatever you call it. Anyway, this would be layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and the command hanger would then go in here and hang, okay? And then again, this goes on the bottom. So I'll put links to these in the description below. You can download them, and then if you make your own design, as long as it's 2 inches, the width of this is 2 inches, it should fit, and you would just put one here and one here, and you've got hangers. Or again, you can just put some circles here and cut holes and put some rope. So that's it. Let's go ahead and go File and Save As. And let's see, where am I going here? I'm going to my Glowforge folder. And we'll save this as an SVG, and we'll call this our Smith hanger, okay? I'm going to replace the one that I'd done before, and here we want to keep all these unchecked and make sure this is embedded. It doesn't really have anything to do, you don't have to in this instance, but in the future you'll want to keep this embedded in case you have any kind of rasterized graphic that you want to etch or engrave in your Glowforge. Click OK, and we're done. Okay, I'll see you in the Glowforge. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is upload our file. In this case, I'll be uploading the file titled Smith Hanger. Once loaded, we'll need to enter our cut settings. In this case, I'll be tweaking my preset for 1/4 inch poplar in order to cut a 1/4 inch birch plywood. Note that the birch is sold as a 1/4 inch, but really it's 0.201. Okay, once our settings are in place, we'll want to go over to the vertical ellipses and turn on our pass-through. Then we'll go ahead and grab hold of our artwork and position it on the wood. So here I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard to get it just right into position, and then we'll go ahead and print. As you probably already know, it takes a while for the Glowforge to prepare the prints. We're going to go ahead and speed this process up. Once ready, we'll click the big Glowforge button, and we'll start to burn and cut. So we'll go ahead also and speed this up because obviously this takes quite a long time. Okay, we're done with wave 1. At this point, it's time for us to go back to our Glowforge software and let the software go ahead and start taking pictures to help with alignment. Now, once alignment's taken care of, we're going to be asked to shift our material forward. We'll need to bring it forward at least 8 inches, so it's about 3 inches from the face of the Glowforge, or the face of the door, like so. Excuse my bald head. Okay, so once we've shifted the material forward, it's time to go back to the Glowforge and hit continue. The software will then align the pieces of artwork up, and then we'll be asked to continue and continue the print. And basically at this point, it's rinse and repeat until you're done with your design. Now, in order to keep this video concise, we're going to move on to the finishing aspect of the now cut door hanger. Don't forget to cut your mounts and felt pads if you elect to use them. Again, mount files are in the description below. Now, let's move on. Before we start on the door hanger proper, we want to glue together or laminate our back mounts, both top and back. Here, I chose to use the screw mount. Remember, I'm providing you 3 mounts to choose from. It's your choice which one you pick. In terms of actual assembly, there's not a whole lot to it. All we need to do is simply smear a little Titebond wood glue on 2 out of the 3 pieces, sandwich them together, and then hold them together tightly with some F-clamps until dry. With that said, let's speed the process up. Okay, once the mounts are dry, it's time to attach them to the door hanger. We'll simply spread some Titebond on the back of each mount and then fix them to the center top and bottom of the door hanger. To save time, we'll again speed the process up. Before we stain the door hanger, it's probably a good time to do any extra sanding that needs to be done. Now at this point, you probably know what I'm about to say, but I'll say it anyway. Let's speed the process up. Alright, we're getting closer to being done. To color the door hanger, we're going to use a Rust-Oleum stain advertised to dry in about 1 hour. The color we're going to use for this project is Kona. Now some may choose to use a paintbrush to apply stain. I prefer to use an old cotton t-shirt, and that's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to go ahead and apply the stain to both the front and the back of the hanger. So let's go ahead and speed the process up. Okay, once the stain is dry, it's really up to you where you want to go from here. In this project, after I had finished a first coat of stain and let it dry, I decided to scuff it up a bit with sandpaper to give it an aged look. I then went through the process of staining and scuffing for 1 or 2 more cycles until I got the finish I desired. In the end, I think I got a door hanger that would make many people proud to display. If you choose this project as your own, I think you could do the same or better. With that said, this concludes our tutorial. I appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, and take care.